Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2005 here in TW 2020 as we're back on the road to WrestleWar after a quick little off-ramp to WrestleMania over WWF, but now WWF is back under the AI's control, so we'll see what wacky stuff they do for the first Mania after, the first Raw after Mania moment. But now we've got Nitro live from beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina at the PNC Arena, so let's get rolling with Nitro. As of course, as basically set up the last couple weeks, the Enters put over a huge main event of Kanyon versus Eddy Guerrero one more time tonight. As of course, if Eddy Guerrero wins, he's added to the main event of WrestleWar for the World Championship. Well, if Kanyon wins, Eddy is locked out, so we'll see what happens there. But then we go directly to the ring for our first title match of the night, as the Truth defends its title against the other member of the Tolan and Lepin team, Tank Tolan, and in a really solid match, well, actually just in a straight up good match. Like, this is not a solid match, this is just a straight up good match. The Truth, but here the Truth makes another defense of his television title as Tank Tolan, does his best. He does his power stuff, he does his brawling stuff. He tries to hit the tank turret to get the win early, but Truth fights back. Truth hits a quick little spinning axe kick. He does. He hits the big gut wrench suplex. He fights back. Hits spinning heel kick. Does some brawling. Goes back on offense. But eventually, Tolan goes for a big corner splash. Truth gets out of the way. Truth takes over. And right in the middle of the ring, he hits the Truth of Consequences and makes the second defense of his World TV title, defeating Tank Tolan in a little under 9 minutes. As this gets a 77, perfectly solid match, actually a lot better than I thought. Truth gets a 67. I think we're still sort of building him up as he was less over in WF than you'd think. And Tank Tolan gets a 74, and overall this match gets a 77. And of course, post-match, what do you expect happens as Tolan and Lepin go for the beatdown on the Truth. But of all people, Jerry Lynn comes out and actually makes a save. Basically, making safe for the Truth, sending Tolan and Lepin out as there's a stare down between both groups of people. As, we cut to our next thing, as, just put over, Jerry Lynn making a big appearance here to save the Truth and help him out in his time of need. Of course, this is basically just a little throwback for me, just like in real life. They are both in TNA, well, not a couple years actually before this in real life. So this is just fun. And plus, Jerry, again, I want to not keep the cruiserweight divisions and the other wrestlers of the roster completely separate because I need them to wrestle people in the quote unquote heavyweight division, but also just fun, and plus they'll hopefully get them over. Because if cruiserweights are locked in their own division forever, they're never going to get over because they're not going to be able to have that great matches to get that over, especially in the type of product I have. But here, 61, perfectly solid. Lynn makes a save, and we'll set things up from there. And then we go backstage, where Bischoff is in his office, and he announces, Kanyon versus Eddy is a huge match, but he wants to make sure things have tended to get out of control with those two guys, and it's great for ratings, and it's great for the action, for the fans to see great action between two of the best wrestlers in the business today, but I want a winner tonight, so nobody can whine or complain about who's in the world title match at WrestleWar or not. So, tonight, what better enforcer to make sure nothing goes awry than the world champion? So tonight, RVD is here, and he's going to be the special enforcer tonight for tonight's main event. Honest part here is I was going to have RVD as a special ref, but I forgot to edit his referee skills, so the match wouldn't be a mess. So, oh well. Now he's just a special enforcer, which means he'll be just at ringside and, basically getting involved a bit. But 81, solid promo from Bischoff setting up the match later tonight. Then we cut backstage. Well, not backstage, but in sort of the darkened, up in the crow's nest or whatever, Raven's nest, I guess you could call it. As Raven, of course, with his Wrathchild and Killswitch, his two, Seekers of Sin, his Sentinels, and he speaks. Warning, warning, warning. That's a funny word, warning, because, if there's a warning, you have to be worried about something. You have to actually have something to back up that warning. And Morningstar, the truth is, your warnings only prove the lack of armor that you have. Because deep down, this, people in the back, people in the crowd, even the other wrestlers don't realize this, but every wet day, your hold on your monster is getting weaker and weaker. I know the truth of how you made him and how you bound him to your cause. Because I've been in this wrestling. I've been in this around this darkness for so long. I know the methods of what you did to bound that monster to you. Because the message will not fail, not by my hand, even though I'll help, but on my orders. There will be absolutely nothing you can do about it except kneel to your new master. There will be blood. There will be screams. But at the end, I will stand alone. I've given your warning all that it deserves. Quoth the Raven, nevermore. So continuing the feud here, Raven basically saying, he knows why, Morningstar's hold him sees as supposedly weakening by Raven's hands, maybe not, who knows? And, just basically sets this up as this gets a 75, again, just building up Raven and, pushing this feud between him and the, the Deadpool. And then we have basically a squash match. I mean, not quite a squash match, but Austin Aries gets a little bit of offense in here, but he's basically here to, do the job. He gets a little bit of offense, gets to be a little cocky, prickly, gets wiped out by Sean O'Haire as he, Aries gets a little bit of offense, eventually, clothesline, power slam, Widowmaker, right in the middle of the ring, 1, 2, 3. Nothing's Aries has a future, but not yet. As this gets a 70, fairly straightforward win. O'Haire gets an 81, Aries gets a 43, and then as Aries rolls out, O'Haire takes the mic and says, Toro, you want to talk about Empire Man? I sit down here alone, my own man, and I'm calling you out right now. Come down without your lackeys. Come down here not as a false Caesar or an emperor or whatever you want to call yourself, but as a man and fight me in this ring, in this World Circle. Because I don't care about winning till WrestleWar. Yeah, we signed a contract for that match, but I want you right now to prove that I can kick your ass at any time, man. So get your ass down here and face your future shock. Toro comes down to the top of the ramp, but he just sort of stands there staring down at O'Haire, and there's no fight. But O'Haire, points at O'Haire, makes a cutting throat motion, and then walks back to the back as O'Haire is still pissed in the ring. This gets a 75, continuing the feud as, that's also official for WrestleWar, Sean O'Haire versus Jonathan Toro. Then we cut backstage, where Brother Ray is pissed, and he's stalking backstage, and basically yelling at various poor backstage workers and such about, where are the chosen few. And then as he goes around a corner, facing him down is, of all people, Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Tajiri. And, Tajiri, is ready to mist him, and Brother Ray ready for a fight, but Chavo steps between and says, basically, look, we understand you're pissed, but you're walking into a lion's den. Ray, you're tough as SOB. Nobody can deny that. But 3-on-1 isn't something you'll be able to pull off in their locker room or you'll be able to pull off on the streets. And we don't want to get in a brawl in the locker room when we can get in a fight in the ring and actually figure out who's the actual better one here. And Brother Ray's like, fine, but you're not going to stop me from my revenge. You don't, on the streets, you don't get punked out like that and survive if you don't fire back. So fine, I won't do it tonight, but you're going to be my backup, and we're going to take care of the chosen few one way or the other. Chavo agrees, and it looks like Brother Ray has some allies, at least for the moment. As this gets a 59, because, well, Chavo and Cheerio are doing some, charisma and mic work, and they're not the best, and building things up. But hey, you gotta do things like this, to build people like Chavo and Cheerio up a little bit, and sort of push forward the storyline. And then, next up, we have first we have an Eddy promo. Sorry, my bad. I thought we were going to a match. And Eddy's, basically backstage in his locker room saying, Kanyon, people talking about what we've been doing for the past couple months. But Holmes, they forget our history. You see, when I came back here at Fall Brawl way back in 2003, you were in that 4-way when I won that shot to get a world title shot. But of course, you managed to get that world title. Then we still have Starrcade. What happened to Starrcade is I basically killed the Horsemen. A couple months later, they were dead and buried after I took the title off your ass. And then you were lost. We're on our own path until you, I say, wouldn't accept the simple fact that I'd kick your ass and kept on getting up and didn't walk away. But, in a way, even though you're in my way, Kanyon, I can respect it. Because deep down, we're both a lot alike. For years, we were denied our true shot at our glory by backstage politics and did not know our own skills. Here's the difference, though. I was always that damn good. I have the blood of the greatest warriors in professional wrestling flowing through my veins. And tonight, Kanyon, you're in Miranda White Guerrero meets Warrior. Then he finishes up by saying, and Van Dam, stay the hell out of my business tonight, or you'll get a preview of what's going to happen to you at WrestleWar. So 95, really good promo, because, well, it's Eddy Guerrero, he's really good at the promo things. He's kind of underrated in the game, but still he's solid here. And then we go to our ring for our Cruiserweight title match, as Matt Sydal makes his first defense here, and this is a fun little match. This is Osei actually gets to actually be, look actually like the solid wrestler that he is. Instead of just sort of I don't say joke character, but sort of the more comedic character of trying to pay things off. He doesn't actually even try to pay Sydal off. He actually goes on the attack right from the start, and hits quick, a little bit of brawling, eventually, like, locks Seidel, like, in a couple suplexes, takes him down, like, tries to play the stronger, like, power guy here, because he is a little bit bigger than Seidel, I think, at least I think so. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But then eventually he does do some high, he goes to the top rope for a big flying crossbody. Seidel rolls through, goes back on offense, tosses Osei to the outside, hits a wild plancha. Then both guys are like hitting a couple big moves, suplexes, Asai moonsaults, springboard splashes, but eventually Osei goes for the sort of butterfly suplex that he's been hitting people with, but Seidel blocks it. Backdrop. Seidel actually hits a sort of like version of a capo kick, goes up top, but misses the shooting star press. Osei goes for the finisher again, but Seidel rolls him up into a cradle and actually gets the quick pin out of nowhere. 1, 2, 3 to pick up the big victory over Osei. As this gets a 59, Seidel makes defense number 1 as a cruiserweight title. Seidel gets a 46, Osei gets a 54. Solid stuff here. Osei was off his game, but again, these guys aren't that over yet. But hey, putting matches on TV is how you build people up. And then post-match, Seidel's, riding up to the ring, celebrating, holding his title up, when boom, former WCW Cruiserweight champion, Eel Skipper comes back out and wipes him out from behind, knocking him down, taking him out with a, from behind, and then hitting a big super kick to knock him down and stand over him before the officials come out to break things up. It looks like Eel Skipper wants to take back his Cruiserweight title. As this gets a 49, again, decent stuff, but these guys, not the best most charismatic people in the world. But speaking of charismatic people, we go back to Kanyon, as he's pacing backstage as well, and he says, every damn time, it's the same thing. Yes, Eddie, you beat me at Starrcade. I've admitted that. It's fine. That's nearly a year and a half now. But here's the thing. 18 months later, 14 months later, whatever how long it is, neither of us are the same men now, are we? You've refound supposed real family values, and I'm on my own path. But, Eddie, you want to destroy me once and for all? So be it. But even if you take me out tonight, even if you beat me in that ring, 1, 2, 3, I'm still going to be in that ring at WrestleWar, unless you kill me and take me out for good. And I'm going to be in your way of winning another world title. So I have to prove to everybody, not just you, Eddie, not just you, Van Dam, not just you, Bischoff, but to everybody in this business, that nobody's better than Kanyon. And tonight's going to start that. 100 promo from Kanyon because he's freaking awesome. And yeah, we're just building things up. Solid stuff as we move forward. And then we cut backstage where Jeremy Borash is with, all people, Alex Wright. And Wright, says basically, he talks to Borash, tells him that, he's been the U.S. champion and he's been dealing with his own commitments over on Revolution. Now he's at Nitro, as WrestleWar is coming up, and he wants a challenge at WrestleWar from a strong competitor to face him for the United States title. Just somebody who can truly prove, they're worthy of a chance at him. He's willing to fight anybody. Jason Jett comes back up and says, look, I'm money. I'm Jason Jett, and as a former champion who used to hold gold, I want your gold now. And Wright said, if you think you've proven yourself, fine. But, in my view, nothing personal, Jason Jett, but I've been a tag team champion, I've been a US champion, and you held the TV title for a little while, then you got your ass kicked. So do you really think you deserve a shot at this gold? I mean, I'm fine taking you apart bit by bit. But do you want to be embarrassed? And Jett is pissed at this. Says, you think? No. And he just sort of walks away pissed as he looks a little bit insulted. And Wright's like, hey, I told the truth. What can if he can't deal with that, so be it. And Tori's with him, sort of putting him over. But again, Wright's not turning heel here, but him and Tori have been focused on getting him ready to be his own man, to be a tough competitor. 70, decent stuff, sort of setting up the storyline. And then we have a fun little 6-man tag match to continue the feud between, of course, Ninkyo and the Hart Legacy. They both bring a partner. In this case, it's Great Suzuki for the babyfaces and Ikuta Hidaka for the heels. And this is just 6 great workers. 2 of them weren't that over. Well, 3 of them weren't that over. Just you could imagine this match in 2005. It's 12 minutes, and it is high spotorama. It's Hidaka kicking the hell out of fools, Kaz getting some strong kicks and trying to lock in submissions, Yang flying around, Great Suzuki flying around, hitting some big moves, Hart Legacy doing some double team stuff, and eventually things just break down, and in the ring, with nowhere to go, Kaz actually pins Great Suzuki with the moonsault press, and Hart Legacy are unable to make the save. as this gets a 78, and just a, like, I mean, I imagine this would be just like one of those, like, hey, like on like the message boards or Reddit in 2020, like posted on like a random YouTube. Here's this great match with these 6 great workers. Did you ever see this? Like just on this random Nitro in 2005, or like some sort of like, on some blog, like your underrated, gem of the week on the WCW network or whatever. Anyway, this gets a 78. Hidaka gets a 45. Yang gets a 49. Kaz gets an 88. Suzuki gets a 49. Jack Evans gets an 86, and Teddy Hart gets a 76. Fun stuff. And of course, post-match, the heels celebrate to the boos of the crowd. As the announcers put over, it is going to be Hart Legacy versus Kaz and Yang finally in a tag match at WrestleWar, but these two teams seem to be still at each other's throats. But Kaz and Yang seem to have the Hart Legacy's number, despite Hart Legacy being former tag team champions. And then we go backstage, where we have another sort of surprising appearance as America's Most Wanted, our tag team champions, show up, and they basically say, Bischoff, we've been dealing with our old business, but now we're here for new business on Nitro to face whoever you want to take us on for the tag titles. We're ready to fight anybody to get in that ring and prove them that, it's their damn luck to face the best tag team in the business right now. And Bischoff's like, basically, I don't say like he's non-committal, but he's like sort of like, I have to figure out who's the best team that deserves it. When in box, of all people, Shane Helms and Titus Tomko. And, Tomko gets to look like tough, and Helms basically says, look, I'm already the greatest United States champion of all time. I would have been the greatest world champion of all time. So, look, we proved ourselves. We're a team. We defeated a prominent tag team last week. So, obviously, now that we've proven ourselves, we're ready for a title shot. So we can take that belt and put it around somebody's waist who deserves it, such as myself. And AEW are rightly like, you've won one match. And even Bischoff is like, I understand what you're trying to do here. You're trying to sneak in while Hart Legacy and Ninkyo are fighting, and other tag teams are off on their own thing. But you're not going to be able to pull that off. And then Helms is like, fine. You think we don't deserve it? Fine. Look, I'm not even saying you have to defeat me, a former world champion, in that ring. But, look, my man, bodyguard to the stars, to prime ministers, presidents, dictators all around the world. Titus Tomko. Face either one of your men next week, and hey, if you beat him, fine. We'll move on to other business. But if he beats you, then obviously we deserve a title shot. Bischoff tries to step in, and AMD are like, no, fine, that's great. We'll wipe that smile off your face, and we'll kick your little lunkhead of a bodyguard's ass next week, and you'll prove it's going to be your damn luck that you're going to be sorry about. Bit of a face-off, but we have something built up here as we have basically Titus Tomko versus either James Storm or Chris Harris next week. If Titus Tomko wins, they get a tag title shot, but if James Storm win, Chris Harris or Storm wins, it's, off to other business for AMW as this gets an 83. And then we have a Revolution recap focusing on the whole Booker T Check Palumbo thing and everything else going on as this gets a 70. And it's time for our main event. And it is okay. Yes. These guys are really freaking good. And, you sort of understood why I keep on putting them in matches on Nitro, because look at this. I mean, obviously, I'm about to hit sort of, the limit of how I can face them off, but hey, we got at least one more match with them involved, at least for the pay-per-view. But hey, this match is freaking great. It's Kanyon, it's Eddy Guerrero. I mean, I've gone through the matches that they sort of do, and there's a little bit of fun with RVD on the outside. So basically, RVD sort of, takes a chair away from Eddy Guerrero as he's about to go after him. But then Kanyon's actually going after Eddy on the outside, and RVD sort of steps between them and lets Eddy recovers. So that makes Kanyon upset of him. They go back in the ring. Eddy actually hits a Blue Thunder Bomb and then hits a Frog Splash. But RVD points out that Kanyon's foot is on the ropes for the ref as he's about to count 3. Eddy yells at RVD. That allows Kanyon to come from behind and hit Rolling Groove Cradle for a near fall, and then nail Eddy with a Kanyon Cutter. And that gets another huge near fall as Eddy actually kicks out at right before 3. Eddy goes back on offense eventually. But the finish is actually, we get a few false finishes with their big moves. Thunder Bomb. Eddy hits the Brainbuster of Doom. Kanyon actually hits the Flatliner, but again, it's too close to the ropes. Both men go after each other. RVD is mainly, just pacing outside the ring. By the end, Kanyon goes for the Kanyon Cutter. One more time. Eddy blocks him. Hits the Blue Thunder Bomb. Hits the Brainbuster. And then he, does a little shimmy, sneers at RVD on the outside, hits the Frog Splash. But at the last moment, Kanyon gets his knees up, and then Kanyon goes for the Kanyon Cutter. But Eddy pushes Kanyon into the ref. Ref is out. Eddy immediately goes outside for a chair. RVD gives chase. Eddy blocks the chair. Eddy already gets in the ring with Eddy. RVD grabs the chair. And then he throws it at Eddy. Eddy ducks. Kanyon catches it. And RVD basically, blind to it all, hits the Van Daminator on Kanyon. RVD shocked. Eddy hits him with a quick, drop kick or whatever, knocked to the outside. Eddy goes back up top, another frog splash. Ref wakes up. 1, 2, 3. Eddy wins the match. 95. Kanyon with a 93. Eddy with a 92. These guys are pretty great. And of course, it's now official for WrestleWar, along with O'Hare versus Toro, Hart versus Ninkyo, and Don Fry versus Goldberg. It is a three-way singles match. It's Eddy. It's Kanyon. It's RVD. It's probably going to be a great freaking match for the World Championship. And there you go. So yeah, let's get to 95, and then post-match, of course, RVD immediately get back in the ring. They push back at each other. Kanyon then, obviously realizing what happens here, then turns around and actually goes for the Kanyon cutter on RVD. RVD pushes him off, and there's a three-way stare down before they start, basically, it's a three-way brawl, as RVD eventually gets the advantage, throws Eddy to the outside, tries to explain things from Kanyon, then Kanyon walks away, still pissed at him, and, then there's a stare down between Eddy and RVD as the show ends, as this gets 100, and overall, we get a 93. Okay, so really good show here. Obviously, again, basically, Nitro at this point is basically the Kanyon Eddy show with basically other guys being built up slowly. It is what it is. Now, zooming forward, let's see how weirdly how they book Raw after Mania. Because there are some people who, I have set to, debut, and then let's see, if they've actually booked the other people differently. Well, after I do some AI booking for the AI, I always wonder, if they actually do things well with it afterwards, or if they just completely screw it up. Because both things can completely happen here. It's also, anyway. Oh yeah, just as a offer, so we had the battle result. We finished last out of 2 in the American area battle, but we finished first out of 3 in the Japanese area battle, which is interesting. Okay. First, Nitro, we got 2.13 million viewers, and Raw, before we go over the results, Raw got 2.29. So it's actually getting pretty close. Okay, so overall, so we had Crush Holly defeating Shelton Benjamin on the undercard in 71. Interesting. That's not a great start for half of our tag champs. And okay, so this is interesting. So Caleb Leon, who is Air Paris under a new name, just because, of course, I would rename him, and CM Punk are now teaming as a team, and they defeated the debuting Perry Saturn and Justice in a 74 on the pre-show. So that's interesting. We had Ivory defeating Shaniqua in a 65. We had Randy Orton bumping grind defeated X-Pac and Little Fellas by DQ in an 82. Taker defeated Incredible by DQ in an 85. Triple H defeated Maven, sure, in an 87. Molly Holly defeated Amber James in a 92. Chris Benoit defeated Scott Hall in an 87. Okay, so you basically never book the guy when he's world champion. Then the first Raw after Mania, you give him a win. I am confused. And then our main event, Big Show and Brock Lesnar. Yes, because Brock turned face last night. Team up with his former enemy, Big Show, to defeat Imperial Leviathan by DQ. Okay, if they actually book either Big Show versus Leviathan or Brock Lesnar versus Leviathan as a feud, I'll be impressed by the AI. I doubt it, but it's entirely possible. And yes, they actually are doing Air Paris. So after Air Paris and AJ Styles were a team for a few years, now it's going to be Air Paris and CM Punk as a team. Okay, that's actually interesting to me. And then a side note, Scott Taylor, who was in WCW for a while, has joined Michinoku Pro. Interesting. And that is actually interesting, because I guess he's actually got good enough that he's there. But yeah, nothing else really of note. So I'll be back with you guys in just a moment with Revolution. And welcome everybody to Revolution, live from the beautiful Bank of Kentucky Center, I'm guessing Lexington, Kentucky. As we're continuing on the road, well, not for us or for these guys, but continuing after, whatever happened last week. But of course, Monty and Chacombo teaming up to face off against AJ and Ray until Booker got involved, and now, lots of fun stuff coming from that. But we start out tonight with Monty coming out and basically like being upset, basically saying, I don't care who hates who dislikes who's whining about each other, because I'm in this business to do one thing, and that's win titles and kick ass. And Booker, you're in my way, and you're reminded, this is my show now. So I want you tonight in that ring, and I'll happily kick your ass all across Kentucky. Actually, all around this stupid state of Kentucky to get a little bit of healing, because he's had a little bit of too badass there. Booker shows up, says, Monty, we haven't really crossed paths yet, Seka, but I'm happy to beat your ass tonight. But you're just going to be away, because I don't want man. I don't want you, okay? Nothing personal, but I don't want you. I'll happily defeat you in that ring to remind you why I'm a six-time world champion. And you're nothing but a punk newcomer who thinks beating Goldberg once makes you the man. But I'm going to get past you to get to who I want, and that's Palumbo. Then Palumbo also comes down to the top of the ramp, and there's sure not between those two, along with Raven and Charmel during that sharing daggers at each other. And Palumbo basically says, Booker, if you happen to get past this guy, who's, remember, a younger, better version of you, I'll be happy to kick your ass again. I remind you why Revolution is my show. And Monty steps in the way, wait, no. It's my show now. And Palumbo's like, well, we'll see about that, but I'll kick your ass. And hey, maybe my old lady will kick your queen's ass too. Ooh, heat for that, as look, there's going to be a cat fight between the two men, pull each other out. I was like, look, both of you, keep control of your damn women. Booker, tonight I'm going to kick your ass, and most importantly, show you this isn't your neighborhood anymore. This is my time now. So we basically have a main event set up between Monty and Booker T, and continuation of the feud with Palumbo, and all that fun stuff. So that gets a 92, really solid stuff. Palumbo and Monty had some bad rolls, and also I forgot to turn Charmel face, so there we go, 92. And then we get, along with that, we get the Empress putting over. It's going to be Celine Cartier versus Lizzy Dumas for the #1 contendership for the women's title tonight. As Teddy Long has agreed that, Gail Kim is the champion and she deserves to have some new competition. Well, Drew Lawler is gone and Trisha's guy moves on to other things. So it'll be a big main event of Cartier versus Lizzy Dumas for the women's #1 contendership, as this gets a 64. And we move forward with Ken Anderson coming down to the ring, as the entrance put over, his big victory versus Keenan Sharp. He says, a couple weeks ago, I made Keenan Sharp tap out and say I quit in this middle of the ring. That just proves I'm heading to the top of this business, and there's nobody can get in the way of Ken Anderson. I'm going here from Wisconsin, now I'm in Kentucky, and everywhere I go, I kick ass and take names, because nobody who can stop me. Out comes Cash of all people, and he basically says, look, kid, you should respect me. I'm a former multi-time tag champion. I was part of the hottest stable in this business. Now I'm here on Revolution to show myself on my own. And you should get out of your way and respect me for what I've done in this business. Anderson's like, I don't need to respect anything you've done, but I'm happy to kick your ass, and I'm happy to show you a little respect this way. And there's the punch, and the match is on. As this gets a 70, not bad, but not terrible, not great either. And then we have a fun little match, as it's Ken Anderson versus Cash, as they go back and forth, Anderson, gets to do his brawling and his basic pro-style stuff. Cash flies around a bit, does a little bit of his bully cruiserweight stuff, but, basically does more some high flying and some, heel shtick, hitting some low blows, going after knees, taking people out, all that fun stuff. But Ken Anderson eventually fights back. Anderson hits some big power moves. Cash goes for a side moonsault. Anderson catches him with a fall-away slam. Cash goes for the, oh god, I forgot the name of his finisher, but he goes for dead level? Is that him? Or money clip? Whatever. He goes for his modified sort of pile driver thing. Anderson fights out of it, goes back over, basically hits a few big moves, then slips, Cash takes back the advantage. He goes for a, dive out of the ring. Anderson gets out of the way, takes advantage, throws Cash back in, hits him with the Kenton bomb real quick, and gets the 1-2-3 victory here on Revolution, as this gets a 72. Anderson gets a 55, Cash gets a 77, as Anderson is still being built up. But then, as Anderson is celebrating, Jamie Noble comes from behind and attacks Anderson, beating him down, and locking him in a guillotine choke until WCW officials break it up, as he, basically yells at Anderson, "You're going to respect me, kid." As it gets to 70, and this feud is, after Anderson and Noble had a little bit of a confrontation last week on Revolution, now it looks like Noble wants to beat some respect into Ken Anderson. So solid stuff here, nothing too great, but moving Noble on and Anderson on to new things. And then we go backstage where, we got Awesome Storm, Abraham Hunter, and of course, Billy Kidman, our call shot holder. And he says, "London, I gave you a chance to move on, but you're still sticking your nose where you don't belong. So, even though you got a veteran with you tonight, and by veteran I mean a guy who's on his last legs, look, Dean, we used to be friends, we used to be competitors, but it's just getting sad now, man. But anyway, my men, best technical wrestler in the world, not you, Dean, and the baddest man alive, Mike Awesome, are going to tear you apart. And we'll send you, Dean, into retirement. And Paul, we'll send you crying back to Texas when you realize your place. Because we're the top of this business. And now there's nobody who can get in our way. Tonight, you're just going to be a lesson to everybody else on Revolution." So solid heel promo as Awesome Storm get to look like Awesome Storm in the back. 87, good stuff. Kevin gets himself over. And then we come back to the ring where Tori Wilson puts over Keith Walker as now he wants another victim in the fight, another fight in the Fight Club, and prove himself tonight. So just again, get Keith Walker over. Nothing too hype, nothing too big here, as we're not quite ready for his first real feud. But keeping with Tori, using her overness to get him over a little bit as it gets a 47. Then we have the actual match, which might not be great, as Trevor Rhodes comes out. And, well, Trevor Rhodes is not super over, but he's decently over, at least in this area. But Keith Walker kills him in 2 minutes by stoppage. Just beats him down, takes him down. Suplex, drills him with a big knee. Rhodes is out. Ref calls for the bell as Keith Walker, is declared the victor after only 2 minutes. Rhodes, there's a little bit of brawling, but this is just Keith Walker's show as Walker is dominant. This gets a 38. Walker gets a 44. Trevor Rhodes gets a 39. And yeah, just nothing too fancy here. Just Keith Walker looking like a badass. And he gets to celebrate with Tori by his side as this gets a 45. As just put over, Tori may have found another diamond in the rough as Keith Walker looks like a very violent individual who could be quite successful here in World Championship Wrestling. And then we have a very interesting. So, as put over last week, we have the first official in-ring edition of the Brodown. As Chris Roxy comes down. He has a little bar area in the ring, and he's welcomes everybody to the Brodown with Chris Roxy. And I've been partying all over the country, but down here with the WCW crowd to party with all of you. And he welcomes out some big fans of WCW who have been competing themselves, and welcomes out Annie Vidal and Nikki Ratcliffe, better known as Annie Social and Nikki Rocks, who have been a long-time tag team in the social scene down my deathbed, and here they are making their way to the main roster. And Roxy puts them over as some tough competitors in the ring, but more importantly, they do some wild stuff out of the ring as well, and that's what Chris Roxy wants to talk about, not what you're doing in the ring, but what happens out of the ring and late at night. And Annie puts over her and Nikki. Yeah, they've been former tag team champions in American Wrestling Queens, but more importantly, they've been to the hottest clubs in Los Angeles, in San Diego, in San Francisco, all over the country, thanks to her bestie Nikki, who has all the connections thanks to her family. And they've been partying all over the world and kicking ass and taking names and proven that you don't have to be some good little girl or some sorry, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, you have to be good little girls or ice cold bitches to get your way in the wrestling business. You can be two fun-loving girls who just want to party, have a good time, and then get it done in the ring. And then out comes European Disunion, our tag team champions, who are not happy about this. Busick just looks like she wants to kill him, and Colt takes the mic and says, first she looks over at Roxy and says, "Just leave now." And Roxy takes him and says, "Look, don't want to get involved in this. I'm here for a party, not for a fight." And Colt just sort of sneers on him and says, listen, I've seen what you two women have done in other places. But you understand, this is our show. And if you think you can play around like little the stars you think you are, little celebutards, and think you can get done with and get in that ring and fight somebody like us, you're going to be sadly mistaken. And by all Rex for play it off like we're just here because he invited us out here. We're not going to fight, but we're ready to do it. And it looks like there's going to be a fight, but eventually Colt Lake says it's not worth our time to take you apart. But stay in our way, and it will. So, Andy Vidal, Nikki Radcliffe, the social team makes their debut here on the main roster, and they've somehow, without even talking to them, upset the European Disunion. 53, fun stuff, mainly because, what's we're looking for? These three are not over at all, but I still decided to do it. And also, I'm changing her gimmick to, okay, great gimmick for sorority submission for Nikki Radcliffe. So, fun stuff. So that gets a 53. Solid stuff as, like, I'm not surprised it's got a low rating, but I still needed to do it. And then, basically have a quick segment backstage where Stevie's he's ready to come out with Booker later tonight and make sure, Monty Brown doesn't do anything screwy or that son of a bitch Palumbo doesn't get involved. And Booker's happy to have him by his side, and he's ready to fight tonight. 68, good stuff. Just a simple little backstage promo, to get stuff over as far as that goes. Then we have our another tag team women's match, as in a fun little match, like nothing too special here, as, just back and forth, like nothing too out of the ordinary. We have the two members of Captivation, Angel Fox and Lexi James, getting just a perfectly solid win over Lila Vivez and all that Ellis Alexander, better known as, Melissa Anderson and the former Lacey, in a little over 7 minutes when Lexi James pinned Lila Vivez, Lexi DDT. Nothing dirty here, nothing cheating, just, babyfaces not quite ready to defeat two former women's champions. As this gets a 55, Lila Vivez gets a 39, Melissa Alexander gets a 43, Lexi James gets a 48, and Angel Fox gets a 57. Was this especially hurt by anything? Not really, just a little bit of holding back because I put on storytelling, so that's what I expected. And then he'll celebrate to a 55 as just put it over, as tough competitors in any part of the women's division. And then Amy Weber catches up to Jamie Noble and asks him, what the hell he was doing out there. Like, Ken Anderson hasn't done anything to you. And Noble says, no, that's where you were wrong, you little empty-headed bimbo. Ken Anderson should respect me, his better, because I'm a man to beat Eddy Guerrero, and would have made Goldberg tap out if WC officials didn't get involved. He's nothing but a punk. And when I finally give him that ring, he's going to be reminded why I'm a former champion, why I was on my way to the top in this business. And when I get him in that ring, I choke him out. I'll have two choices: tap or here's some bone snap. So 83, solid promo here, continuing the feud, and Dumble's really pretty good on the mic as we continue to build things up. And then we have a kind of like not, quick promo backstage where Celine Cartier basically says, I'm always ready to fight. This is all I've done since I've gone in this division. Whether it's Captivation, whether it's you, Gail, before, I've been women's champion before. I'm going to be women's champion again. Lizzy Dumas, you're a great competitor, and I'm sure you have your plans to make sure I don't win. But tonight, I'm in the ring to do one thing. Let's compete and win and finally get another chance at the women's championship. So 60-70 decent little babyface promo from Cartier, putting over her big match against Lizzy Dumas a little later tonight. Then we have the tag team match. And, okay, that's interesting. So, it's quite unfortunate that Dean Malenko is old, and has just been collapsing as far as skills go, because that would actually be an interesting babyface team, is London and Malenko. We're not sure how much I can do with it despite their excellent chemistry, just because London's, really good and actually pretty over, and Malenko is just getting older every day. Regardless, they have a fun little tag match here, awesome, throws around people. Malenko surprising gets some, Malenko and Storm, I'm sure, have a fun little technical battle. London flies around, but eventually, awesome, Malenko, I imagine, actually has Storm in the Texas Cloverleaf, but April Hunter basically drags Storm, Storm's arms through the ropes and then calls out to the ref to break it up. Malenko's not happy about it, Storm is able to low blow from behind. Awesome throws like London basically off onto the guardrail on the outside. Storm hits a big super kick, locks in the Canadian Maple Leaf, and for nowhere to go, Dean Malenko has to submit as Awesome Storm gets the win over London Malenko here in a little over 11 minutes. This gets an 84, Awesome gets an 88, Storm gets an 87, Malenko gets a 58, Paul London gets an 87, and of course, post-match, there's the beatdown that you'd expect from these evil bastard heels trying for it, when out of nowhere, Seek and Destroy hits, and Sting comes out of the ring with his baseball bat to clear the ring of the triumvirate as the crowd pops. And he helps the babyfaces up as, interesting moment here as Paul London, Sting comes out here to help Paul London of all, and Dean Malenko of all people. And backstage stuff here. So this was originally going to be on another top babyface, but I actually came up with Sting has nothing to do at the moment, and he's also a little bit of a spoiler, has a TV role in about a month. So I have something to do for him about a month here on Revolution, and we'll see what happens with that. But this gets an 80, solid stuff. As we continue, as in our semi-main event, Celine Cartier in a very solid match. These two are both really good wrestlers. Lizzy Dumas gets to fly around a bit, hits a twist of fate, try to go for the moonsault, but Cartier gets out of the way. Cartier gets to do some babyface power spots on Dumas. Imagine a big Tiger Bomb, gut wrench suplex, some throws Dumas around, but eventually she hits the Slice Leve, which is an air raid crash, right into the ring. 1, 2, 3. No way Captivation didn't avoid the loss. And a big win for Celine Cartier as she becomes the number 1 contender to the Women's Championship. This gets a 70. Cartier and Dumas both get a 65. And then, as, Dumas rolls out, Gail Kim comes out to the top of the ramp with a smirk. She holds up her women's title. Cartier, basically smiles back, points back, and makes tugboat motions as the announcers put over. It's going to be Celine Cartier versus Gail Kim in the near future for the WCW Women's World Championship. So this gets a 68, solid stuff as we build that up. And then, oof, that's unfortunate. Okay, so I'm just checking this out. Let me see here. Lexical, Okay, okay, slight hurt for Tama, that's fine. Per commentary, yeah, okay. So, this was actually a very good match, but it got dinged for the lack of psychology, which, okay, Monty would not have but, Booker would have decent psychology and color commentary, but that's fine. Regardless, back and forth match, or what you expect from these two, Booker doing some brawling and fighting to keep Monty down, but Monty overpowering him, Booker T playing the older veteran here finally, but Monty continues to run with Booker fighting back. But eventually, Chuck Palumbo comes down to the ring. Monty, distracts the ref a bit that, actually, Raven Rain comes down to the ring, distracts the ref. Palumbo can come in, hit the full throttle on Booker T on the outside, roll him back in. Monty hits the pounce and gets a pinfall victory here. This gets a 79. Booker T got an 87. Monty Brown got an 85. Said the better color commentator and lack of psychology knocks down to 79. That's unfortunate, but what can you do? I know, have better matches. I hear you. But then, it looks like there's going to be a beatdown of Palumbo and, Palumbo on Booker T. But, as it's about to happen, Teddy Long comes down and says, sorry, Chuck Palumbo beat down on Booker T. I think I might have said Teddy Long. But anyway, Teddy Long comes out and he, basically says, first stops Palumbo from to get Booker. He says, he'll suspend him and he'll have no chance of the title in the future. But announces that next week it'll be big main event. As it'll be Booker, AJ, and Rey Mysterio Jr. all teaming up to take on Chuck Palumbo, Monty Brown, and a partner of their choice. And basically, Monty and Palumbo are like, why would we agree to team up again? And he says, basically, here's the thing. If you team up next week, playa, whoever gets the pinfall next week automatically gains entrance to a triple threat match in 2 weeks. And then the other people involved, and then whoever gets pinned is taken out of the next match. But then in 2 weeks, there's going to be a tag match of who's left, and whichever team wins that gets into the triple threat match. And then whoever wins that match will earn a title shot sooner than later. But if you don't get involved in any of that, fine, but you're not getting a title shot anytime soon. So Chuck and Booker, agree, and the match is made. So let's get to 90. And yeah, that was probably a little confusing, but basically, next week, 6-man tag. Week after that, tag match of the people who were not involved in the pinfall, either the pinfall maker or the pinnee. And then 2 weeks out, then a week after that, and a triple threat match, the person who got the pinfall in the first match and the team who won the second match. And overall, the show got us 84. Oof. Okay, not our best match, not our best show. Oof. All right. Yeah, that main event kind of screwed us over, which is unfortunate, but, shit happens. What can you do? I know. Again, I know. I can hear you have better matches. I don't think that really hurt us, because I think, yeah, our shows are like having numbers like 82s or 83s. But it's getting close there. And yeah, I probably should have had AJ and Ray have a match on the show or be involved, but, what can you do? I mean, we still had let me see what we're doing as far as, yeah. Since Sierra's is retiring. Okay, see, that's the first thing that's unrealistic about this game. Luchadors never retire. FWA is going from Classic Sports. Okay, that actually makes sense for them, because they were more of a work rate promotion by this time. Let's see here. Monty Brown. I mean, okay. WC had Night of Legends. Okay, so Alex Montalvo, who is he a real guy? Okay, yeah, he's a actual guy. Interesting. Defeated Buff Bagwell, Collier Cologne, who's still there. Defeated Apollo. Interesting. Mustafa Zed, he's still there. Fun stuff. But anyway, small time wrestling from Atlanta. Okay, Mark Briscoe, JC Bally. Well, okay. Roxy, who is not the Roxy you're thinking of, because she's like 4 at this point. Yeah. That's a different Roxy, which just tells you there's only a limited amount of names in professional wrestling. But anyway, let's first show you guys what they did for SmackDown. So for SmackDown, well, first on Heat, really nothing of note. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin defeated Grandmaster Sexay, and that's about it. For SmackDown, though, we had Shinko defeating Selena Majors, TNA defeating Perry Saturn and Shelton Benjamin. Okay, that's an interesting team. Molly Holly and Ivory, let's see here. Kane promo, Edge promo, which got a 90. Top Shelf promo, which got a 73. Shawn Michaels promo, which got an 89. Good for having a world title. Jackie Gata defeated Amber James in a 73. Brock Lesnar defeated Justin Credible by EQ, so probably, I don't know, somebody get involved. Then we had Scott Hall, the ADP and Steiner defeated Richards and Bone Grind. So that at least is a continuing on from the 6-man at WrestleMania, which got an 88. Let's see here. Hall got a 72. Ooh, okay, DDP got a 73. Center got a 90. So Hall and DDP, I think, are hitting the downward spiral of stuff. So then Big Show and the Undertaker team up to defeat Gallows or Bruja, Vampire and 5 on. Okay, obviously in real life they would not do an Undertaker match versus his WrestleMania opponent a couple days later, but shit happens. What can you do? All right, so right, sorry, I had a complete brain fart of what I was going to look at. Okay, so we had Wildside TV. We had, let's see here, random 6-man. The important thing here is Hiaki got a 51, and so did Adam Ortiz, so they're both getting there. We had Jimmy Raven defeating Claudio, Ryan Drago, and Rick Michaels, and again, Claudio the 50-57, so not bad. Cassie O'Reilly defeated Tony Jones, that got a 40, so he's not quite there. And Jason Cross defeated Kai Graves, Kai Graves got a 48. So, this was also in the Mid-South again, so that explains a little rating for those guys. Anyway, then we had shown the actual Southeast again, so Kenzo and Bobby Lashley. Kenzo's at a 48, Bobby Lashley's at a 28. Again, he's young, he'll get there. Matt Cross defeating Rain Man. Matt Cross is at 52 already, so he's almost getting there. Kent Cole and Sonny Siaki defeated Claudio and Tony Jones. Tony 46, Siaki 62, Claudio 66. So yeah, I mean, you can sort of see people will be on TV pretty soon here. Jason Cross defeated Chance Profit. Chance Profit at a 62 as well, so fun stuff. And then for our women's fed, we had first the weekly show. We had Tracy Chiller defeating Allison Danger in a 36. Yikes. Oh, right, I think this was also, no, this wasn't. Interesting that she had that lower rating. She must be injured or something. So had some promos. Tracy Brooks defeated Madison Eagles by DQ, that got a 43. 100% girls defeated the Megawin. 100% girls are Becky Bayless and Mischief, who, they're okay. Like, yeah. Then we had Madison Claire, Desire, and Noli Hosaka defeated ODP, Ariel, and Michelle McCool. Interesting. Again, like, unfortunately, like for some of these women, they just don't have any, like, I have no spots left, honestly. And then Nikki Rocks drew with Antisocial one more time before they came up to the main roster. And then at Ladies Night 44, we had ODP defeat Madison Eagles and Tracy Taylor in 8:35. ODB's already pretty solid. We had number Cent Girls beat Michelle McCool and Austin Danger between the tag titles in 8:52. The non-gay partners beat the social scene to send them out of the company. Yeah. Tracy Madison got a 50. Tracy Brooks got a 53. Not bad. Kim Nielsen defeated Miss Molly in a tables match. That got a 60. And then Hosaka defeated Ariel in a ladder match. So, interesting stuff. And then, let's see here. HWA, they had one of their main shows, which, did I show you guys? No, I did not. So they had Dustin Lee defeat Kaveta Vantu, who's a regen, who got signed by WE. Rodimer, Ricky Romero, and Horace Roddy defeat Barry Bradburn and Club Deluxe. Again, Barry Bradburn's also a regen. Cyrus Roddy defeat Corey Castles, and I think that's Jimmy Jacobs, yep, in a retained the tag titles. Joel Burns defeated Excalibur, and Ray Steele defeated Alex Shelley, Ricky Change, and Indy Davis retained HWA TV title. And then for their big show, oh right, that was their big show on Wednesday. Then for their weekly show last week, we had Jimmy Jacobs and Barry Bradburn defeat Dustin Lee and Daniel Rodimer in 8:35. Andy Douglas, Rick Moore, Chris Trotter beat Alex Shelley and Club Deluxe in 8:54. Ricky Shane Page defeated Excalibur in 8:54, and Ray Steele defeated Corey House retaining HWA TV title in 8:48. So yeah, I mean, there's some solid people, but also there's some people who probably, I don't know what they'll do here. Regardless, moving down to OVW, we had first their Friday show, which had Shaggy Dudo versus John Cena again. But Capsule and Shark Boy defeated Sean Casey and Rory Frox. I feel like I should actually show this guys to you. Chancellor Lizzie Borden and Dream Max did Mitch Page. Yeah, I totally showed this. No, I didn't. No, because that was last. Okay, yeah. Sorry, this sort of all blows together. Especially because it's Shaggy Dudo versus John Cena like 18 times in a row they done. But Tommy Malik versus Chuck Taylor in a very, what would be a later Indies match, I guess. Shane Taylor defeated Sarah Stock to retain the OVW Divas title. Danny Doran defeated Isaiah. Mafia defeated Daniel Pewter. Joey Ryan defeated Tony, and Joey Massey defeated Rob Conway in a 68. And then in the big monthly show they have, the Samoans defeated Sean Casey and Roy Frox. Okay, interesting that they're now have them teaming up. Capsule and Shark Boy defeated Russ Haas and John Morrison in a 57. Wow. Okay, those guys are getting there. Let's see here. Lizzie Borden defeated AJ Sparks. Steve Bradley and Daniel Pewter defeated A Squad to retain the tag titles. So there you go. Rob Conway defeated Charlie Haas in a 63. Then Joey Massey defeated Joey Ryan. It is Joey Ryan. Anyway, nothing too fancy there. And I think that's it as far as like big shows recently. I always forget. Let me see here. If there's anything else to show you guys. All Japan's having their Champion Carnival. Let's see here. CZW's some CZW stuff. Dragon Gate's Dragon Gate. Kushida was hired by them at least, which is nice. Yeah, I think that's actually it. Because I showed you guys a New Japan show, and that's been it for them for a while. Yeah. I might have to figure it out on my own eventually, but yeah. I might do like an indie roundup in the next show or two, but regardless. Here we are for now. Again, storyline-wise, we got Against the Darkness at a 75, American Scum, which is Riding Jet at a 75, Choosing Violence at a 71, Choosing Backgrounds at a 76, Cruiser Stuff's at a 53, Brian Goldberg at an 80, the Tag Feud at an 81, O'Hare Toro at a 75, and the main event at a 95. So that's sort of like position where Nitro is, where the main event is holding up everything else as they build new people up. On Revolution, we have the basically the other women feud at a 64, Desian and Disorder at a 66, Gail Kim and Trish Scott at 86, which I'm going to put Celine Cartier in a moment, Anderson and Noble, and I'm going to take out Sharp at a 65, Styles, Kidman, Ray at an 87. Booker, Palumbo, Monty at an 82. And the tag feud at an 83. So fun stuff. Again, just sort of building things up as we continue on the road to WrestleWar, which at the moment, oops, that's our backstage. As far as our pre-booking goes for WrestleWar, we have Fry vs. Goldberg officially announced, Eddy versus Kanyon vs. RVD for the title, Hart Lacey versus Ninkyo, and Sean O'Hare versus Jonathan Toro. And of course, other fun stuff will be announced as we go on. But that's it for now. If you enjoyed the show, go ahead and like, comment below when you're enjoying and not enjoying, and of course, subscribe to the channel for latest TEW 2020 content, including this series, my WCW New Japan 2004 series, and my new ROH 2022 series, where Cody Rhodes takes over. But that's it for now, so talk later, and adios. Have a good one.